gị kwa Tọzdee ọbụla ma ọ bụ na ọkwa elekere mbụ nke ihe ka a kpọrọ Ask the Commissioner, ebe anyị na-ewetala unu ọtụtụ ozi dịgasị iche iche etu esi wee na-alụ ọlụ n'ime steeti a bụ Anambra iji wee fụ na ya bụ nnọọ anyị na-alụ gbasatara Anambra steeti na ọ pụtara ihe n'ụzọ pụrụ iche. Abụ m Onyekachukwu Ugochukwu.
Mụ bụ Priska Nwankwo. Etu ka esi wee na-anabata unu n'ihe mmemme Ask the Commissioner nke izu ụka tata. We'd like everyone to join the conversation on this dial. Remember, the program is streaming live on Facebook. When you go to Facebook, search for Anambra Broadcasting Service and join the conversation on Facebook. You know that distance is not a barrier, so if you're outside the state or the country, you can join the conversation on Facebook at Anambra Broadcasting Service. And as we go on, we're going to open up the studio line, so if you have questions for our guests today in the studio, you can go ahead and ask your questions.
Ọ dị mma n'isiokwu nke tata bụ iwetalụ gị ozi banyere agamnihu nke a na-enwe na gburugburu iwu dị iche iche bụ nke eji wee na-ejikwa ya nakwazi iwu ndị nke a na-amanye onye ka ji wee na-anabata nnukwute onye ọbịa onye nke ga-esokwazi wee dọwa okwu agba na ya bụ isiokwu anyị tata bụ Injinia Dr. Felix Odumegwu, onye nwa bụ kọmishọna na-afụ maka gburugburu na Anambra steeti. Anyị na-asị gị nnọọ n'ihe mmemme Ask the Commissioner.
Anambra State.
Indeed, Udogachi, because that is what we wish for the state, for peace to reign as supreme. Welcome you once more, Mr. Commissioner. Okay, just like Anthony has highlighted, today on Ask the Commissioner, we focus our spotlight on environment progress reports, laws and enforcement, and we're better to answer some of those questions that some persons might have or might have been asking than the Honorable Commissioner for Environment in charge of the ministry himself. All right, we'll kickstart the conversation this way. We'd like to understand, for you to give us an overview of the Ministry of Environment so far under Governor Chukwuma Soludo.
Yeah, thank you so much. Anambra, I greet you once again. Good afternoon. This is Engineer Dr. Felix Odumegwu, the Commissioner for Environment. Yes, I am here to give a brief overview of what we do in the Ministry of Environment. In Anambra, environment is very key. You know, it's a key sector. It's one of the major pillars of the administration. You know, because of the peculiarity of this sector towards the agenda of Mr. Governor, you know, bringing solution to Anambra State. Yes, but it's very peculiar, you know, because the environment, everything that actually happens in Anambra State takes place in the environment. But the peculiarity of Anambra State makes it such that if care is not taken with this environment, we might actually lose it. So in Anambra State, the environment is an existential threat. We have recorded, as a fact, you know, over 1,000 active erosion sites, you know, bedeviling the state, you know, in the land mass. You know, Anambra is the second least in all the states in the terms of the land mass, while Lagos is below Anambra. Anambra occupies about 4,844 square kilometers. Whereas Lagos is actually acquiring more land, expanding towards the ocean, you know, getting more lands. Anambra, in the case of Anambra, we are shrinking. Because these over 1,000 active erosion sites threaten close to about 160 communities. You know, out of 179 communities, you can work out the percentage now of the level of devastation that we have in this state. You know, it is reckoned that Anambra is the erosion capital of West Africa. And that is to show you that the area is devastated as a result of Gori erosion. There are some communities that have more than 5 active sites. You know, Nanka is hugely devastated. Oko, on the left and right of Oko, they have this erosion encroaching in. town. And apart from erosion, we equally have a perennial flooding that almost always submerges about 9 local governments. In 2022, 9 local governments were submerged. About 7 of them were totally submerged, with the remaining 2, with some parts of the remaining 2 submerged also. And this, you could easily see the level of impact, rendering human activities there stagnant for the period which those areas were submerged. So it's an existential threat, and that is why the governor made it a major pillar to focus on, because he believes that if care is not taken within the environment, so much would not go well. So, on the ministry, we have keyed in, proactively towards dealing with these devastations. But one thing that we found out is that many of these devastations are actually caused by negligence. Man-made activities, actions that people do they're not supposed to do, and then inactions, neglect that things that people are supposed to do and they don't do because they feel it doesn't concern them. Apart from the fact that also we have climatic change that also occurs within the environment. But some of these things that we found that are caused by man, we've also decided that we should really focus on them and then deal with them, because if they are caused by man, then if those activities are actually stopped, we may reduce or bring to a barest minimum the devastations that arise as a result of these activities of man. And that was why we actually focused on reorientation, public awareness on reorientation of the mindsets of people to cause a behavioral change. The first town hall meeting we held, we tagged the taking ownership, community participation approach. Because governor will always ask, whenever petitions or requests come to him to help deal with these situations, he will always ask, what has the community done? What have they been doing? How come they allow this to develop to this level of devastation? And that is very key, because if people don't really know what they are supposed to do, then the devastations will continue to happen. So in the first place, when people now become aware and then they take ownership, participating in sustainable practices to help to mitigate and save the environment, would go a long way to minimizing some of the causative agents that bring about these problems. And that was why we held that town hall meeting. That was in 2023. In that town hall meeting, we had all the major stakeholders, the traditional rulers, the PGs of communities, the school operators, the market leaders, and every other person who will hold one stake or the other as far as the environment is concerned, And there we were able to disseminate information, to every one of them. Because one thing we've come to understand is that when people get to understand the need, you understand, for some of the things that that happen and the impact, you understand, of some of the actions that they do, they would really change. And one major thing is when you are able to cause the behavioral change, you've actually attained to some level a sort of organic sustainability, because right there the people themselves are now part and parcel of bringing about a change in terms of mitigating against the environmental problems that we have. And that meeting was very successful. Because that meeting gave rise to a lot of other things that we started embarking upon, especially the drafting of the framework that involves the community participation, the role of PGs in the communities, the role of the community leadership, the role of traditional rulers, and then the role of schools and churches in the environment. And this framework we drafted, and we made sure that we disseminated this framework to all the traditional rulers and the town union presidents. You know, we in that framework we directed or advised that they should set up in their communities what we might call the Environmental Sustainability Committee, or whatever name they might call it, that would proactively deal and discuss on everything that has to do with environmental sustainability. Because we believe that the gully didn't just become a big gully. It started as a cheat erosion or real erosion. And if the neglect, you understand, made it become so big. So if this committee now decide to nip in the bud some of these problems at the point where they arise, we will be able to deal with subsequent devastations and nip them in the bud. So the idea is in prevention. You understand? The idea is in prevention. You know, stop the next erosion from erupting. You understand? While we deal with the ones that have already happened, you know, looking for money to deal with them, we will stop the next one from erupting with the awareness and the participation of every citizen being involved in that. And they probably stop the next flooding from taking place. Last year, we didn't really experience flooding in Anambra because we proactively desilted the drainages. You understand? And it's become the norm now. People have come to understand that they have to desilt their drainages that are surrounding their areas. Of course, the governor exercised his political will by removing most of the structures that obstructed the drainage ways, you know, the waterways, you know, making it possible for water for the first time in many decades to flow freely from the drainages towards the streams and the rivers, you know. These were preventive, proactive measures that ensured that we had limited man-made or man-caused flooding. Because of course, when you have drainages that are filled up and they're encumbered, of course, when the rains fall, you will see the waters now overflow the banks, overflow the gutters, and then they start flash flooding. But these ones that are caused by man's activity were able to reduce to the barest minimum, you know, and that helped in making sure that the environment became sustainable and the water flow was ensured freely. Now, of course, the erosions gullies that are already occurred, we proactively and decided to deal with some of them. Of course, Governor awarded contracts to as priority to deal with the ones that our resources can take. You know, of course, the total budget of Anambra State will not be enough to deal with the devastations that are happening in the state. But as we get resources, we're able to tackle the ones we can. Last year, about 3 erosion sites were awarded, you know, to the agency that has to do with the environment, you know, and then the work have achieved a certain amount of percentage of completion. Now, apart from that, the one at Nobi Moju Road has been completed. The erosion that was devastating the federal secretariat towards the new government house is completed. Already, erosion reclamation and flood control has been awarded for Kulobia to Oga. Those ones are ongoing as I speak. We've awarded the contract for erosion control at Obo. one at St. Paul's University at Oka here, and so many other ones that we are mitigating to reclaim the lands and bring about flood control in those areas to reduce the devastations there. And for another aspect of the ministry that has a high impact is the sanitary inspection of premises, regulated premises. This is very key because we believe in that prevention is better than cure. Yes, Governor is doing so well in the health sector, building general hospitals, employing health personnel to man those hospitals and all that. But the entire population of Anambra State cannot be seen going to the hospital every now and then. So there's a relationship between the environment and health, because we believe that when you have a clean environment and then you have very clean air, and you eat good food, you've actually given yourself primary health. So what we do in this sector is try to reduce and prevent people from actually falling sick by making sure that there is hygiene within where they live. Because we believe that if the greater part of Anambra State population is healthy, it will bring about good productivity. So we've actually improved on this area of the ministry where we visit regulated premises. For instance, most of us go to restaurants to eat, and we go there in trust, believing that the food being served there should be good. But we don't really know where those foods were prepared. We don't even really know the condition with which those food were prepared. We don't even know who prepared the food, whether the person has communicable disease and all that. So it is the duty of the ministry health officials, environmental health officials, to visit those premises in trust for the public, to make sure that these areas, one, the people who prepare this food have undergone tests, they are free of hepatitis, they are free of tuberculosis, they do not have any communicable disease, and then the environment where that food is prepared is in very good condition, hygienic condition. That would help to ensure that whatever is being served the public who come there and trust to eat is well preserved. So that's what we do. And then we also visit factories to make sure that the emissions that they bring up from the factories are under very regulated conditions. Because of course, majorly what brings about most of the problems that we have is climate change. So if we're able to reduce emissions, reduce greenhouse gas effects from these factories and all that, this will help to reduce the impacts within the neighborhood. So these are more we've been able to do. And then for also climate change mitigation, we've embarked on aggressive tree planting campaign, because we believe there's a lot to gain from this one. It helps to mitigate the environment, helps to mitigate climate change, and also provide the needed purified air that the people need for their healthy living. It is very important that one, the tree planting also helps also to check erosion, because this is one major way of preventing erosion. Once we have the trees help have the grip on the soil, because our soil is very loose. Anambra has a very peculiar topsoil that easily washes off. So it's these trees that we've been able to plant will have grips on the soil and help to reduce and prevent erosion. At the same time, also provide the needed oxygen, which is necessary for very healthy living. This and many more that we've been doing in the Ministry of Environment. Of course, last year, Anambra was rated as in the top 10 cleanest state in Nigeria, and that's is to show that before we came in and now the state has moved, so in terms of cleanliness, the mantra is a clean, green, and sustainable Anambra State, and this we are working towards to make sure that Anambra becomes the cleanest We are in top 10 now. We got the 4th position in Clean Up Nigeria and 7th position in the other ranking. But we believe that with what we put in place, we're aiming for the 1st position in the cleanest state in Anambra, in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, ọ dị mma, daalụ n'ụzọ pụrụ iche. Ị na-anya na ajụjụ na nkọwa bụ nke nyere, because recently o nwere governor nyere approval na changing the budget, 2025 budget, changing gears 2.0 budget. So, and specifically, o nwere some of the projects, environmental projects that they can ịkpọpụta. So, but my question now, ka this 2025 budget gets in terms of infrastructure development and environment, particularly in Anambra State?
Yes, it's changing there. And of course, it's a whole holistic approach, you understand, with all the pillars being involved, okay? In the budget, there's provision for erosion control. You know, like I told you, we're in over 1,000 erosion sites. So when we prioritize, we'll deal with the ones that we can deal with based on the budget, okay? Also, we're expecting to receive support to deal with the other ones that were started by New Map, funded by World Bank. You know, we're expecting funding from there to also deal with that. Of course, we'll intensify on the tree planting campaign. Every year, the state plants over 1 million trees. You know, and this year again, we're expected to plant over 1 million trees based on the budget. And one thing that we've achieved in this area is using one stone to kill 2 birds. You know, planting of trees help to check erosion and provide for environmental sustainability. At the same time, you know, with the economic trees being planted, you know, this has proven that the governor wants what we may call sustainable empowerment, you know, to alleviate poverty. You know, when you have these coconut seedlings, oil palm seedlings, okwa tree and all those stuff, yes, the trees are being planted. It provides a green cover for the environment, helps to check erosion, and also help to provide food for the citizenry. Okay, so using one stone to kill 2 birds, you know, planting of economic trees has helped us in the environment and also will provide food and alleviate poverty for those that are there. You know, and then we're going to do massive awareness also. We've been doing that. Well, you know, now you find out that people naturally will now do what they're expected to do because they've been told how to do it and the reasons for them to do that. And they now understand the need. Because when a devastation occurs in a particular place, it is the people within that area that suffers. You understand? So it's imperative that they also know that they become the first victims. And if we now tell them that, see, because of this your inaction, because of this your negligence, this thing has resorted to this and is affecting you. You're not spending too much money in the hospital to treat yourself because there's an epidemic that came out of there because the area where you live is very dirty, which you will have dealt with, okay? Or probably the issue of flooding, where we insisted in the law that, yes, every house should have a sump, especially in the ecologically endangered zones. There should be a catchment piece so that the rainwater that comes down would sink down instead of moving out of the compound to cause flash flooding. You know, so when they get to know that this can help save their lives and they understand that, they themselves now organically do that without anybody really pushing them. Even though, of course, we appeal to them, carrot and stick, we tell them this is what is supposed to be done, and then the greater part of the people who really understand, because we've taught them the need for that, they embark on that without really being pushed. Then the other ones who are defiant, we enforce. We apply the measures of the law to enforce them into compliance. Okay, so that awareness will still continue, you understand, and then the enforcement of the regulations and the laws will continue, you know, until everybody now falls in line. You know, in our ministry, we believe that the environment is everybody's business, you know, because whatever happens in the environment happens to everybody who within that area. So what we are saying is that in this budget, we would continue to prioritize the issue of the setting of the energies, which the people are supposed to do sustainably within their environment, which of course this is in the law, because in the law it was stipulated that every household should set the ranges within their area. Okay, we'll make sure that in the building code we've also included the provision for 35% green spacing in the building code. You know, this time around, you don't just build end to end. You have to build 65% of the area, you know, and then leave out 35% open spacing for greening and for other beautification purposes. You know, this we're going to enforce. We would intensify efforts in sanitary inspection. You know, the law has enabled us to do a lot in that area. You know, making sure that people are made to fall in line, because we have to help them to help themselves. Okay, this is provided in the law, and then these erosion gullies that being made, provisions have been made for them for us to deal with some of these erosion sites, also in the law, in the budget.
Okay.
Okay, we want to remind everyone that this program is still Ask the Commissioner, coming to you on ABS 88.5 FM. At this point, we're still speaking with Engineer Dr. Felix Odemegwu, the Honorable Commissioner for Environment. Well, we're going to open up the phone line, so if you have questions to ask the Commissioner or you have contributions to make, you can call the phone lines. Do remember that the program is streaming live on Facebook. You can go to Facebook, search Anambra Broadcasting Service, and join the conversation on Facebook. Or call the studio lines on 0904-956-0826. It's 0904-956-0826.
Mobi Baina 0706 538 1320 0706 538-1320.
Hello?
Hello,
Champion. You're welcome.
I'm a commissioner.
You can hear.
I'm a commissioner. I'm a
Okay.
commissioner. Because you did a program, we go on us. Also, Anambra. Come down on an office, and I am in there. The money don't have to come to the okay, see, the program, and I'm a little bit. We were not doing a Yami Borum than also. Program, I'm an Anambra, because I go with our soil. I will not know I call on Yamara.
Okay.
No, I'm from Igbo. I'm not John. I don't know you back around. You back John. You back around Igbo. When you hear Kawaleba, Mama calling Igbo from Fab Mezibo, Wafo. When you're in if the name is out. I'm a Balafma. I'm a common with the SOS. My Kaifana Bono. If any know I'll be fighting Kasha. I remember by one by one. I got the Shaman and Anambra State.
Okay. I think you have it.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good day.
Can I find a Bisabany?
I found a okay.
Can I be one abo?
It's not about
Waganiru?
yeah, I'm better for you. My name will remember some here. Even I got report to office in nature. I report to the accident. Nature, I report to the Kevin can nice person because that's no, I did get area. I was at the field. We're talking then I was the you don't know that we're this was I could be not their own, not good to I don't know, I don't know. It's a way about when I the main stage. What the really that place then and okay, take that. My only about I cook that I don't know whether my when can go.
Could they probably fire us a car
No,
or drainage?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I go to the and I got I will ask them more than 500,000. My own, you don't know, but I think they get a pair of bed, you take a pair, but you don't know that I have to do it. And I think you can get that little bit. You'll be able to get a pair.
Okay, Manalugi Kata.
Imani na-ekwu okwu n'ọkụ
Alugi, if Emana Abana law, if a Basel environment you about any and even before any approval for building plan urban submit. I'm going to see if I know by any of me able to case control on me. Keka drainage is ready by. I can allow provide the 9% drainage need urban. And when I will develop now, make sure not there. And the approving authorities no supervise here because make sure that the tools you read and a plan and it works well. In case of Babuna, now it was a kind of if I'm not yeah, catchment pit. Name building in the mother na a compound. So the mini senior museum matter. But you know, send down the rain. You send down the rain from your roof, but at Azian, a back and bigger edge. Up outside, of course, doesn't have a couldn't not cause flood. And not flood by Gaba or Buddha ocean. Buddha Jana Naga, Ebonaga. Yeta. So I went out says in Naketa. Now before I make his approval, you can go see my media and I'm man. It's you can do one, you can do two. You go and it's you begging. So the minister of Nathaniel or Badana or Mamputazi will not cause a flood. Maka on a cost Anambra Ezubetego na cost Anambra Ezubetego maintain drainage systems in Anambra. But now I can encourage from the onset in Bana Rumo. I TSC from the I was the Margaret na building code. I must and can observe Messiah TSC. We are Anambra can maintain Zira wine. Come on, more fine and Zira. So, na question na onye ọbụla na-arụ ụlọ kịta ga-make provision tinye catchment pit n'ime bie mmiri izonata ọzọnata na bie ghara ịpụ outside. Nke ọzọ bụkwa nke anyị na-ekwu okwu na 35% green spacing. You na-arụzi pave obegi end to end. Ị ga-ewepụta some portion ebe ị ga-eme green. Anyị kwuru na the law na each household gonna community at least 1 or 2 trees every year na bie. Yotago. Okay, one, you make sure that the air nearby be the purified. You know, we clean, purified air because you're going to oxygen. Yotago. Still at the same time, you work in a grip nanny to prevent any erosion from happening within that area.
Okay. I the mob can go large June can find 0706 538 1320.
Mobile 0904-956-0826, 0904-956-0826, or join on Facebook, Anambra Broadcasting Service. Hello? Hello?
Okay.
Apparently, okay. Someone else there?
I'll come back.
Okay, all right. We move ahead, but we still expect your reactions and contribution to some of those trending stories we've been able to discuss with the Commissioner with regards to the activities of the Ministry of Environment under the Soludo administration. Okay, so I would like to know, does the Ministry of Environment partner with donor agencies to carry out some of this your projects? And we're tuning and the donor agencies are to fund some of these environmental projects and policies.
Yes, in Anambra, and not just Oyibo. The Facebook by many of them Monday diaspora no Oyibo kafaya and kali of.
It's two language actually.
Okay, thank you. So now if Anambra, the devastations that are happening here, over 1,000 erosion sites. It might take Anambra's budget for 10-15 years to even scratch the surface So if na Anambra need enyemaka, yotago Ibu ocean capital of West Africa abụrụ ife eji na-eme ngala. Ife eji akpọkwu oku ka enyere anyị aka nakwa na ebe anyị nọ na anyị na-anazi n'iyi anyị ji aka ugbo and properties anyị, even lives. Because the worst is that when people now lose their lives as a result of the devastations that are happening. So if I suppose yes, I'm a partner. Now work with other people now, but I'm a partner with UNDP. How about in trainings? Then some of these dump sites, easy access for sustainable waste management. Then you need to get an affair training them actually policy. Near basali e-waste and off-grid energy solutions. Monday, none of that value chain aka email. You said, even though Naketa na Trump, you said the Basakwala and Maka last year. But I see equipment. You can send in a recycling business equipment. My moto Akayo being at the park in Minister Hakayak and the mother. Trucks actually being the not to cover plastic, actually can the mother. So, you know, Mandi Coca-Cola. Now, but even this yesterday, Mandi Coca-Cola Bachana phone, I said, no, so can send the FA actually made this year. Kafamaka is your support line. Mandi GIZ. The German, Yotago. So, in Maka and Bosa can be Japan, Bosano within the United States. So, is what equipment, detect flooding. Flood detection, early warning data and parameters. You want to check the flood. No man, flooding the area in Sobuno Boda. Yotago. So, those equipment be state of the art. Before now, if I'm Nigerian, but the time we did meaning, jump down nature. About that deep stick. I make sure I say a picture. No report or never know. And then all the analog. Even when we get the bar, say a picture, say the level of the water. Weather report and I monitor every 2 days. One day I monitor every 2 days. I remember when they buy you, but some million or the one. If I go Manaketa, you know, making us an office, me pay for them, not to go with him. But we have real-time data. Yeah, state-of-the-art equipment, real-time data. And there were so many parameters that equipment can agriculture, prediction. So many things that equipment can Japan and the UNOPS. Apart from that, how the motor? Logistics. Ma nkeji ebu anyalende disaster management akande sama iji wee nye aka ebuje relief materials to ebe ọbụla anyị nwere holding camp for ndị gbara ọsọ mmiri ma ife ndị a niile. So anyị nwere ọtụtụ ndị anyị na-afa na-emekọ. This anyị na-ebelieve kwa na this first quarter na ndị European Investment Bank na ndị anọchite anya World Bank na gbasara new map ga-ezitekọ ego gbara ọkpụkpụ. I want to operation site. By the new map, I have 13 sites. Now some of them are completely before food go up. Now keep on the EIB Caribbean. I have a toponka. I never expect that money but within this first quarter of this year. So I have a separate. Now you come federal government. And every time I must also America, just imagine that or so Anambra can I na federal government because then can so the former state minister of state, so Yotago, or more good proven casting in Anambra. Yotago. Chief if I am because now, although I batching kete, na check all those source go allocation number, for no we have now. So, Governor Amman will go in the other sector, so still social environment. Maka, all media will go in the fine. So, I am a partner with them very well. I am not chopping them more. Oh, can do no contact and I need you.
Hello. Hello. Okay. Yeah.
I don't care. I chum Kamal Atmaton thinking well na. It is when I jukwa aifia they got waste management na was ibuchi even dinke ana emetakasi no stana ka ụlọ na emeptangwa aka eji na emetakasi gburugburu dịka mmiri na apụta kedu nwa atụmatụ plans for that
Yes, atụmatụ already. They can work with. Yotago. Obona. Ebidozi enforcement, nemezi enforcement here basalo cashman pit here. Meaning na pota side they reduce. That's number one. Yotago. Reduce flash flooding that are caused by man-made activities. That's number two. Then cause buna keta if we go na waste management and the keta no all grassroots. And was a community participation. Yotago. And was a layout na manage the waste. Landlord's estate na manage waste. Yotago no obuna. Only got pasaketa so na manage ya basalo waste management na gana their area. Now this pay direct system I worked. Only kulaka burden na cost burden estate na ko makeji manage waste reduce because now the people are not participating. Yotago. Then cause obuna the local government take over. Yotago. So ebe nwere ahịfịa ọ bụghị nke echere ndị steeti esi ọka ụbarataba obofe mmiri ma ife anụ ebe manage. No, the local governments now are in charge. Yotago. So I cascade get to the grassroots whereby ife anụ bụ speedy response to Fubasali waste. Imagine waste and they generate waste every day, every time, every minute. But now the frequency of evacuation game na man na afia n'ụzọ. Yotago. Say automatic anyị wepụtakasị maka ya adịghị ọtụtụ. Anyị ame no ụmụ fanya agda mgbe soludo governor take over. Ụnụ maka ife si ju everywhere. In fact, we dey no change there no nwa ife togide to almost 2-story building. Nke governor dị go na-enwe address ndị mmadụ ọgagharị. Mana kịta dị ebe ebe a ka ọ dị. It is almost all probably infrastructure heaps of refuse. And as I food heaps and Anambra kịta. Nke megide we rank Anambra one of the top 10 within the space of how many years? Mana abụ na I continue to ask we na-aga. And ihe anyị na-agwa gị ichi rate kwa na rate ya ego ole ka anyị na-save the government. How much are others spending? How much are we spending? And still we were able to get 10% among the top 10. Ihe anụ abụ sustainable management of resources. Governor anyị nwere ezigbo ife. Governor bụ ife ọ na-eme. Ọ dị very prudent and ihe a na-agwa gị anụ abụ ego Anambra ga-abara Anambra uru. So ebe n'anya a na-manage ọfụma. Yotago. Then nke ọzọ n'ime ya bụ na ebe na-enwe waste. Yotago. If I na transition na ya na-akpọ circular economy, just transition to net zero. Waste niile nwere components, compositions, enwere plastic n'ime, enwere glass n'ime, enwere metals n'ime, enwere biodegradables or nri nke si na kitchen wee na-apụta, enwekwa hazardous waste, ma e-waste, ma hospital waste, any compositions of waste. Now, if I na-ekwu okwu na circular economy bụ na ọ bụrụ na some of the waste, instead of ebuzi waste, at the end of its life, they will repurpose or will make another product. Yotago. If you now there was a value for that waste, or man busy a nuisance, not a rather user. Yotago. If you know I forgot that now with the sustained push on recycling in Anambra State, the mother forgot all. Yotago. If you na ebe waste no get a man for the plastic. Makana to because here wele na abanwe na ego. Na lesi ande na recycling business. We na look to other products. Yotago. The same thing can be done in basal metals. Aluminum products get another affair that does be. And now we can go on Nigeria smelt here wele na other products. The same thing with iron. The only problem with iron is na we follow the business near iron condemn na business criminality. Instead of using the ideology and waste, you have to go about waste. For example, public property now vandalize public property, public goods, even public and private goods. You have to go. I say that na a natural scrap metal waste management. That because I am not part of what we are doing in waste management. If I say about the criminality, no vandalization, no destroy. Public goods, fakusi. And I think the measures in place. When I batala, maybe we treat you like a criminal. We treat you because no, that's what it is. So if you need so that we reduce the waste to BRS minimum to zero. If you take out the plastics out, take out the metal out, take out the iron out, then if possible, because when they discuss within the next few months, Fabia, waste treatment, you make a biodegradable design, into biogas. Yotago, quando na abia ka na hagalora and waste to energy. Yotago, if you need a bottom of time, I make sure that before Anambra told anniversary soludo na it if you in place. Because when I went here, if you major components of waste reviewed Hanaba. So not possible waste na cost nuisance or abuse value. Then you know the value chain and then what is able to end of.
Okay, somebody's here. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Who's your quick?
Darling, good afternoon.
Wait the phone again now.
Good afternoon.
And I'm listening to Facebook Live.
Are you talking to yourself? Where you call? Alright, feel free to call us back. And remember, you can join the conversation on Facebook. It's Anambra Broadcasting Service. I was still with the Honorable Minister for Environment right here in Anambra State. Honorable Commissioner for Environment, Engineer Dr. Felix Odimewu, and why Basara activities of the ministry right here under the Soludo administration. All right, so feel free to react, or if you have questions, you can ask him.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Because good afternoon.
Onye mom. I futalo.
Because Mr. Commissioner.
Yes, I'm a mayor. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Emmanuel Okonkwo. Address ọkwa na-ekwu maka erosion na ọsịa ma ọsịrị ịma ihe unu ya eme gota sport ndị ya na-ahụ maka gota ọmụnwa na-anaụsụ maka dustbin na-ejuzi eju n'ahịachi mana nke a na-enye gas mana nke New York Junction biko ọ bụ na ọ na-ekwu omume ndọka udu mmiri ha ndị na-arụ ọka pali nkele bịa maka ọ ya aga ngwa ha bụ asị m nkwuche m bịa metụrụ aka and I want to know can we task force overall so I want to am not here come na alba no tala na either alu the words go the don't know but mo se mo gba overall go come because can na wo ma am can just tell them mele na we the man
no numbers I got popular my numbers no na call numbers in all the fan no boy na call the why location ebo I got be there I am well active enforcement agency called the Child Brigade fan roll money mo go na if you see something say something. But when for this way for anybody in Anambra, boy in the point. In was your Hebia office. I got again to office I am about public registry. I need to receive complaints on a daily basis. And behind the carbon and no, we must make sure we investigate those complaints and abate those nuisance. So because by an point, part of the things citizens feedback. I remember we are now aware from Madalo.
Okay, Honorable Commissioner, those numbers, can you call it out now? Where did the numbers? Okay, all right. As we do that, we'd like you to summarize. I am Mechigo, Manager Kizi, Indian numbers, Basan more than only open Gane Nyaka, if on environment now, the Quanocha, Makana, Anambra, them, my bros again, Wakodi, Rode Quaramon, Madiquaronia, and Brobna. What can people do to support the state government's efforts in keeping our environments clean?
Yes, Dalu, thank you so much. The number. Find the people environment everybody's business. If I the don't just be a spectator, be a participator. So we and the karịrị need involved n'ife a na-eme. Ọ bụrụ nke ịkpọ ekwentị ịkpọ, ọ bụrụ nke isonye ndị community, maka ihe anyị na-emekwa n'ihe community engagement ya n'ụwa bụ that na the layouts, the communities ga-emepụta bylaws ga-adị enforceable among themselves. Ugo ebe a na-ewu create one large army. Yotago onye ọbụla na-amonite ibie maka ha tinye iwu anụnwa or they binding among them who live in that community. Yotago anọghị iwu gbasara environment ka a na-eti so maka onye ọbụla na-eme abide. So if anyị na-ekwu okwu ya bụ na ife a chọrọ na Anambra bụ ka Anambra dị clean, anyị chọrọ ka a na-akụ isi, anyị egosigo na uru isi ba onwe mgbe anyị jere na Agbaka mbute isi mụ na ndị land association wee fụ ngosi ya sample before na agazi the next week ha akọwagwu nkefa and isi na ife a na-akụ in the next couple of years otote ebe niile na-agbanwe yotago Anambra change yota. So ihe niile na-anụwa bụ some of the things, little things that we citizens can also help to do. Na mere anyị ga-etinye some of them na the law. Anyị na-arịọkwa arịọ na-eme appeal at the same time anyị ga-emekwa enforcement. So ọ bụzie ndị anyị na-eme enforcement bụ ndị ekwenyeghị, ndị na-adị defiant na fama nkwenye, mana ihe eji emere law bụ ka onye ọbụla gbanwee sobe ụzọ dị mma, onye ka eji emere law bụ ka eji punishire ndị mmadụ, mana akọwaruo egawaruo. So ndị be anyị nyere na anyị aka ka ọ bara anyị uru na environment ndị ewu.
Okay, the numbers, sir.
Yes, ndị ekwentị nke anụnwa bụ nke ndị environment, enwekwa nke ndị ọcha brigade mana ejighị m ebe a. Onye ọbụla nwere complaint ihe gbasara environment ma onye na-akọs nuisance, onye na-ekpere ife na gota, efu ya na onye a na-eme ya steady, ịchọpụta na onye a dị defiant, biko kpaa anyị n'ekwentị a 070 34 86 95 55 070 34 86 95 55 or 081 68 65 2112 081 68 65 2112. Ịkpọ anyị n'ekwentị anyị ga-aza gị oku gị. Ndewo ndị Anambra.
All right, this is where we draw the curtain on the program. Today, asked the Commissioner, and we would like to thank the Honorable Commissioner for Environment, Anambra State, Engineer Dr. Felix Ademegu. We want to say thank you for what you're doing in the ministry. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
well, the program makes a return next week, Thursday, at this time. I am Priska Monko.
Abụ m onye kachukwu Ugochukwu nwe na-asụ nke ọ dịzie.